Ladies and gentlemen, this is C Double. I'm back from the dead, All Wrestling Talk Nation. We've been down for a little brief hiatus, but we are back full throttle again as normal. We have our guest, Miss Sera Feeny. How you doing, hon?
I'm good. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing good. No, Georgia Florida line's not in my living room or my sunroom. That just happens to be somebody's phone that just went off. But yeah, want to just thank you for being a part of the show. I'm about to just hit up our sponsors for being a part of us too. First of all, I want to thank Disciples Christ Wrestling Network. We are going to be having a show on May 2nd at the Winders Lions Club, Redemption Road, DCWM's Redemption Road. Every man, every woman has a redemption to walk, and you will see it be walked out on May 2nd. Big fight night also, a lot of good matches. If you go down to the Alabama area, Kentucky, I mean, there's many organizations that are having some great matches. Two of our own, Miss Ronnie Nicole, the She-Hulk, will be going against Jesse Bell Smothers. Both been on the show, and one of them has wrestled my guest, the FSW champion, Miss Sera Feeny, if I may say. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little cold here in Pittsburgh tonight, but I'm good.
That's very good. Very good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about the last week and yesterday. We're trying to rearrange shows. I've been ill, and also the guests had family issues that rose up, and we will reschedule all of the interviews. You will hear Nikki Adams. You're going to hear J-Rod, and you will hear Josh Storm. We're going to have them. It's just right now, due to the weather and also due to family issues, we had to rearrange the schedule. But Miss Sera Feeny is here, and we're going to start the interview right now. So, Miss Feeny, if I may ask, usual the first question in the show, and I will always keep it like so. What made you decide wrestling is where I want to go? I want to wrestle.
Okay, first question I have for you is, have you ever watched Boy Meets World?
Pardon me?
Have you ever watched Boy Meets World?
Yes.
Okay, so you know Mr. Feeny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's how you pronounce my last name. I know you're sick. I forgive. No problem. Just forget that, okay?
All right, if I say it over and over, just know I'm gonna commit to learning it. So Feeny.
It's okay.
All right.
So how did I get involved in wrestling? So I've just been basically a wrestling fan all my life. Watching it growing up, wrestling my stuffed animals. And then once I got old enough where I could go and train, I started training here professionally with IWC's IMCD Wrestling Academy here in Pittsburgh. I started when I was 19 and graduated in 2010. So there's a year of training, and then got out on the scene, started wrestling my live matches.
Wow. All right. About when did you start wrestling? What was the age as you started being professionally as a wrestler?
Well, trained from about, May or June of 2009. So I was 19. I just turned 19 and then graduated a year later. So I debuted actually August 28, 2010 at LBW in Allentown, PA. So I was 20 years old when I had my first match. And actually, interesting thing about that match is the special ring announcer for that match was WWE Hall of Famer Sonny.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is pretty awesome there. So, all right.
Yes.
All right. So, we're going to get into a lot of questions, but one of the questions I like to ask, fairly young in the business, but still it's a good question to ask. What were like the biggest challenges going into the business when you started wrestling, when you started, training? Was it maybe the personality? Was it finding who you were? Was it the actual bumps? What was like your toughest challenges for you getting into the business?
That is a good question. Challenges as far as, I think everything you mentioned is definitely a challenge, because you have to be able to, perform in the ring. You have to be able to have the personality. I think that having all those characteristics and attributes really was required, and it kind of, I had to come out of my shell a little bit, per se, to kind of develop into who I am today. So I would say, you know, everything involved, it just kind of progressed as my career continued. And I would like to think that I got better in time in those areas.
All right. Well, that's good because, you know, a lot of people coming in, you know, some would say the bump, some would say learning the, you know, just the kind of how to get comfortable with the ring. Some say it's just getting over, you know, being in front of a crowd. What?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Go
and
ahead.
another thing is too is that I've learned, and I try to tell this to other people that come up after me or whatever. You know, I've worked some newer girls on the scene. I am still, and I'm totally fine with that. But one thing I try to tell them is that networking is really important. You know, early in my career, back in 2010, 2011, you know, I really didn't understand the power of networking. So I didn't wrestle probably as many matches as I would have liked to, but once I realized it's all about like who you know and stuff like that, getting connections in the business, it definitely helped me get my name out there more.
Well, you know, the way I ask questions is I listen to what you're saying and I try to pick and, you know, try to bring up different areas. And you mentioned something really good, networking. Because, you know, we have social media, which is different from networking. And you say, you know, basically meeting people, talking with them, you know, trying to just get your name out there. You got some that say, well, my work should stand for itself. In that regard, you know, and you're working with these young women, who were your, you know, who were the ones that helped train you? Who were the ones that kind of inspired you, you know, getting you where you were right now?
Girls that I worked with that definitely inspired me and helped me get to the point I'm at now is probably the first name I'll say is someone that you've mentioned a couple times already, and that's Jessie Bell. I first met Jessie Bell back in like 2012 up in Altoona, PA. We wrestled a 6-man tag match. There were 2 guys on her team. One of them was Ryan Howe from Tough Enough, and then there were 2 guys on my team. And that was the very first time I met Jessie. And I didn't expect that probably like a year and a half later, I'd be working a program with her back on my home turf here near the Pittsburgh area. And we worked a year program here at a company called RWA. And we did a lot of really cool and fun stuff there, including street fight, including a bikini contest. You know, we really had some good storylines going with that. So I definitely see Jessie has helped me out a lot, helped me understand storytelling in matches, and she's definitely been a good contact to have on my side.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, one of the real quick, well, because I know there's more probably, you know, that's helped train you and everything, but I want to just say Jessie Bell definitely mentioned you in the show, you know, about you being one of the up-and-coming, you know, girls at work, or I don't like saying girls, I mean, you know, women wrestlers that are up and coming, you know, that's busting their hump and very talented. That's what her words, you know, about, you know, you. So the way I see it is if she's giving you that kind of recommendation, Lord Jesus, that's good for you and good for me. You know, I'm very, you know, honored. When I saw you had a match with her, I was like, I'm posting this because I was seeing Jessie Bell work. So I know she's really good. So I was very impressed watching your stuff too. So, you know, I just want you to know that, you know,
Thank you. I appreciate that coming from her too, because she is a well-known name. You know, she's second generation. So she's been around for a while, and a lot of people know her name. She's a very strong name, and she's very, very talented and very good at what she does. So if she can say good things like that about me, then that really means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, when I heard her speak, I was just very impressed. She's very passionate, and we'll get into the themes and stuff like we'll talk more on about you though. This is about you. It's Indy Superstar Spotlight. What is it about? You know, if someone hasn't watched your videos, and I tell people I'm in Georgia, so I got a guy maybe in California wanting to know who Sera Feeny is. Give us like a 30-minute, or not 30-minute, but a 30-second blurb about you. Who are you? You know, the character. What is it about you that is different from the others? What makes
Sure.
you stand out?
Sure. So Sera Feeny is the leader of the Feeny Army. She's out to, make a difference in women's wrestling. She's out to prove the haters wrong, and she's out to inspire people. As far as her wrestling style, she has a lot of old school mentality, you could say, in her matches. But at the same time, I try to add some of the new school stuff too. So without seeing any of my matches, I would just say that what you see in the ring is what you see outside the ring. I try to work hard. I try to keep a positive attitude. I always try to be better than my last match. And, I just look forward to what the future holds for me.
All right. Perfect. I mean, that's something that, I will say is one of the hardest things I've learned, doing the interviews and stuff and also meeting wrestlers. I go, give me a minute of who you are. I've never seen you. What are you? And you'd be amazed. Some people just can't give you that. And I'm glad you were able to give that to me. So I appreciate that. What is it about, who trained you? Who started your training? What was the place you graduated from in wrestling? Because that, is always something you want to fall back on. And, who were guys and women, did you train with guys? Did you train with women? How did that go for you?
Sure. Yeah, I definitely think it's important to remember where you came from and who helped you get where you are today. As far as where I trained here in Pittsburgh at a school called IWC is a very well-known name here. So their training school is where I trained. And, yeah, my trainers were Super Hentai and Marshall Gambino. They're well-known names in the area as well. I had guys in my class. And a lot of big names, some you may know, like Dima Ion at TNA, he came from the same company. There's a guy on the Pittsburgh scene named Logan Shuro who goes by Elias Sampson down at NXT. He came from the same company. So there's been a lot of amazing talent come out of IWC's training school. And yeah, training with guys, getting out working with girls was a little bit different from what I was used to in training, but it was very easy to adjust to it.
All right, well, that's good to know. Now, you said you started in August 2010, so now we're in 2015. What do you like best about the indie scene? Because people don't realize the indie scene is so different from the big three corporations. And, we could talk about Japan also, but I mean, you got your WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor, and, Shine, Shimmer. But what is it, what makes the indie scene fun for you?
What I like about the indie scene is the fact that I had the opportunity to go on the road, meet people, and build a fan base. Just by people seeing me. I do have some fans that contact me online and say that they only have seen my work on YouTube. I try to post as much as I can. Obviously, being in business, that there are a lot of companies that don't want you to post your stuff online, and that's okay too. So I try to get the store links out to them so they can purchase the DVDs. But yeah, just being able to go on the road, meet people, talk to fans, one-on-one during intermission or during the meet and greet, and kind of get to know them a little bit. Why do they love wrestling so much? What dreams do they have? A lot of younger kids started the same way I did, just loving the sport and wanting to one day be able to be in it. So I just love that one-on-one, contact that you get with the fans.
All right. So now let's go ahead and kind of, go back also. You talked about in wrestling how you have inspirations. You have people that inspire you. You have people that just bring, that you want to be like as wrestlers. Like for me, it was Ultimate Warrior, and then Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. Guys like that I love watching. That can invoke emotions. Those are guys I always love to watch. Who are wrestlers for you that it just clicks? It's like you even watch and go, I want to take something from that. I want to take something from that. Who are wrestlers that you yourself follow?
Well, I personally am a 90s kid, so I grew up during the Attitude Era. So I definitely watched, like, Shawn Michaels was my absolute favorite growing up. I liked Trish Stratus. I liked Lita. I liked Beth Phoenix when she was wrestling. I love Natalia's work. I love Charlotte Flair's work. But I would say my biggest inspiration has always been Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn will always take the cake for me. I love how you mentioned that. Now, let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about it. You said my favorite phrase, we talked the 90s. The 90s is the Attitude Era. But for women wrestlers, I call the 90s the Golden Era. Because you had Trish, you had Lita, Ivory, Tara, Molly Holly, Jacqueline. You had women that you actually had a legit roster and actually could do a whole storyline with the women that were wrestling back then. You mentioned Natalya. You mentioned Charlotte Flair. I love that you mentioned that because these are women that are up. Well, Natalya's been there for a while, but I mean, Charlotte Flair, Paige, you got those girls. These women are rising up. I know we'll never have that. I'm trying to come up with the word, the emphasis, the way it had in the 90s. But what do you feel about this upcoming with the women wrestlers we have now? After and see form, and then now knowing WWE really can't say, well, they can't really wrestle when they really can.
Growing up watching wrestling, I mean, I never imagined. I mean, I had all the magazines. I had, everything like that you could get your hands on. I had, I remember when the ice cream guy would come around and I would get the WWF ice cream bar. Like, I mean, I was just so avid, but never did I thought in a million years that the women's division would evolve the way it has, in which they have a television show based around them, Total Divas. But they're getting screen time and getting, being able to have the matches that they're having down at NXT, being able, most importantly, to have, like, merchandise out there as much as they do now. I definitely think it's awesome that they're getting a push the way that they are. And just growing up, like, I always thought it would be awesome for these things to happen, but I had never seen them firsthand until recently, and I just think it's awesome.
All right. Now, the product on the screen that we've been seeing, some people, it's been quite controversial when you get into the women's division. Let's go ahead and just dive into it. If I were to say to you, Sera Feeny, I want you to wrestle for Promotion X. It could be, WWE, TNA. It could be Shine, Shimmer. You can even pick the Indies or Japan, however you feel. Money is not an issue, meaning money doesn't have to be a part of this decision because you're gonna get the same pay basically, and you can go with but you have to go with you figure out your character. But what do you feel would be the best fit for you?
I would want to do them all. Honestly, I can't just say which one. I mean, obviously, the reason I got into this business is because of my love for WWF, which is now WWE. That is the main reason. In fact, I didn't go to my first indie show until probably about 2 or 3 months before my tryout to go to pro wrestling school. So to say I was a little naive of the world around me is definitely something you could say, but I would want to do them all. Shine, Shimmer, Japan, Canada, Mexico, all over, TNA, WWE, Ring of Honor, anything that will help me become better in the ring. I absolutely would jump at that opportunity.
All right. With that being said, so, all right, fair answer. What do you like, who right now that is wrestling that you just kind of, I like to say is must-see TV. Like, for me, I like watching Seth's work, even though he's the heel, but I've liked seeing his work. His work in the ring has gotten better. Dean Ambrose, I mean, the guys in the Shield basically are obvious. I like Neville. I like the new guys. I like the current. And then the women's ranks, minus I like Paige and Natalya. But for you, who is the one that, like, you almost automatically stop your remote or stop everything around you and say, I'm watching? Like, for me, that's AJ Styles. Who is for you?
I love wrestling so much that there's a lot of names I could say there, but I mean, if you want to say my absolute favorite right now to stop everything and just tune in, totally hypnotized, would definitely probably be Natalia. I mean, honestly, I've met her. I respect her work ethic. I respect everything that she's done to this point and that she'll continue to do. She's amazing, but there are a lot of other names in the women's division too, such as Paige, as you mentioned, such as Charlotte, such as Bailey, such as Becky Lynch. I mean, the names could just go on. Same with the men too. Like I just love seeing solid matches. I love seeing matches that tell stories. I watch wrestling a little differently now than I did years ago. You know, I was just a fan then and opt for gimmicks and stuff like that. But now it's really about studying what I'm watching. So yeah, I just love it all.
Oh, that's good, because I'll tell you, that's what you want to do when you're watching wrestling now. It becomes homework. It becomes, and it actually is fun because you're watching and going, well, maybe I could do that. I see where it went wrong there. And you end up analyzing it, but there's some that just go so far, and then there's some that just, if you do it right, you can enjoy the show and learn something. And I wish
I do it with indie wrestling as well. I mean, I don't want people to think that I'm just a fan for, you know, WWE or whatever, but I definitely am. But I am a fan of all wrestling, and I have searched YouTube for people. Like, if I know that I'm going in against an opponent that I know nothing about, I will see her work to see kind of what I should be expecting, so that I know how to prepare myself. I just think it's a good tool to have.
Let's talk about it. You're booked for a match, you know, and, you know, you obviously, you know, they tell you who you're probably going to go up against, especially if they're booking it, making posters of it. You have to look them up. But let's talk about when you book for a show, you don't know who you're going to go up against. You don't even know about film. What do you do then? Do you try to find out who it is so you can talk? Well, tell me the different ways of preparing for a match for you.
I am a very prepared person in all aspects of life, to be honest. But I understand that a lot of times you don't know until you show up, and I'm fine with that. You know, when I first was starting out, I definitely wanted to be as prepared as possible. But now I'm a little more relaxed, and when I get there, usually they'll have match graphics before the show so that you can promote it and stuff like that, so you know who you're working, or they'll tell you. But, you know, there was an incident, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or something, where I worked at a company called DCW here in Pennsylvania, and I knew that I was kind of unsure who I was going to be working, but I knew that it was going to be this one girl named Miss Stanton. Well, I didn't really know what all, because it was the first time I had been working for this company. So needless to say, I actually had 3 matches that night because they record for television. So actually, I got to meet her for the first time. I didn't know much about her prior to that night. And I got to meet 2 girls that she got down with her, Debbie Kane and Sera Rise. Sera Rise is her name. And they're from, you know, up north. And it was such an amazing experience. And I definitely look forward to working more with them in the future. But, you know, really to answer your question, sometimes, like you said, you don't know until you show up. And then you go, all right, well, you know, what are you about? You know, this is what I'm about. So let's go out and show what we got, you know, and that's just what you have to work with sometimes.
Yeah, I'm hearing you because, like, see, with the company I'm with, I got guys that want to go over every detail of the match, and then I got guys that are like, bullet points, please. Just let's do tell me the highlights. We'll call the rest in the ring. Have you?
Yeah, I'm at that point. I mean, it depends who you're working. It depends, honestly, it depends who you're working, what they feel comfortable with, how long they've been working. You'll hear in any interview I do, I talk about Jessie a lot. I respect her and I appreciate everything that she's done for me. But another name that you will hear me mention a lot is Casey Carlisle. Because Casey, I'm sure you know who she is because you're from down south and she's from Virginia, but she is so amazing in the ring. She is just so talented, and I've worked her a couple times now, and we're at the point now where it's like we know each other. You know, we can call a lot of stuff in the ring, and you just get your basics out of the way, and you know, call it in the ring kind of thing. So yeah, it just depends who you're working.
All right. Now, here's a question I'm going to ask. We have guys, we talk about the way, how the hard road the Indy is. That promoters look for certain types. Now, my question to you, being a woman and everything, do you find it that there's some not hardships, but just some challenges that arises? Like, you want to, basically, you're ready to wrestle every match you're booked for. But they say, well, we really want you to be a valet. I mean, do you ever have stuff like that come up, that you really just want to get in action, you want to have a straight match, and then sometimes the promoter will say, well, I want gimmicks. I want valets. I want you to look hot. Have you had that ever happen?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's expected. And to be honest with you, I've learned a lot. I've learned from mistakes I've made. I've learned from opportunities that I maybe didn't necessarily take. I've learned. And that's the important thing, is that you continue to learn and you realize, okay, I'm going to not do that, or I'm going to make sure next time I say, I will take that, or whatever. But yeah, definitely. I mean, that's expected. But again, this goes back to the whole network thing. I mean, it's really important to have a solid network around you. When I first started out, I definitely didn't know, what I was supposed to do. I didn't really understand the whole networking thing. I stayed loyal to my companies, and mainly my home company that trained me, IWC. And, once I started networking and talking to other girls, then it was much easier to get your name out there. And the more that you're wrestling, the more that your name's out there, the more that people hear about you. So, of course, there are people on the other side of the country that don't know who I am, but there are a lot of people on the East Coast that know who I am because, I've worked shows that maybe they can apply for or something like that. So I'm not going to say that I don't have to go out and, contact people for new opportunities, because I don't think you should ever settle. I think you should always try to, get to the next level. But I definitely have a lot of inquiries coming in now, and it's just it's definitely good to network for sure.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's just, I know that there's got to be challenges also when getting in the ring, dealing with personnels, dealing with different personalities. I know also, like, we have women wrestlers here. I know, like, not Tara, but Pandora, that's one of the wrestling names out here. She likes to wrestle guys. We got, women that like to just wrestle women. Do you have a preference, or it doesn't really matter to you?
Well, so again, I trained with men, and I was totally fine with that. There's some things that I did during training that I haven't done since because, it just doesn't work in the matches with some of the girls I've worked. So as far as that goes, like, I'd be totally fine working guys and being able to pull some of those moves out. But at the same time, I really love the stories that I'm able to build with these women who are, really successful on the scene and really help me. I have only wrestled in my professional career one guy, and his name was Johnny Switchblade. And I'll just say, because it's on YouTube, it was kind of funny because he actually, sorry, Johnny, he ended up throwing up during our match. And it's kind of funny to say because I do get asked this question. It's like, yeah, I wrestled a guy, but the only time I did, the dude threw up during our match. So we had to take it out fast. It's like, maybe he could keep up with me. But no, but I really wouldn't mind either way. I just think as long as you have a good story to tell, I would say it's going to make sense. If you're going to just bring a big guy out there, like, say, Ray Rowe or something, just to demolish me, it might not tell the story that you'd hope for. So big props to Ray Rowe and what he's doing right now on the Indy team, though. But, I'd be a little hesitant to get in the ring with him.
Well, no, that's cool. That's cool. It's like I said, these are just, it's just common questions that we'll ask during the show. What is it about, being in the business? What is it, something that you just being able to go out there, wrestle, what do you love more? Is it the getting to the ring? Is it going, traveling down there? Is it, the camaraderie that you feel with the wrestlers and the women wrestlers? What is it that you enjoyed the most so far when you're going out for a show?
I've loved to enjoy every part of it, and the way that the locker rooms feel like family to you. You see these men and these women, sometimes more than your own family, a lot of times more than your own family, and it's like, that's your family. You know, you feel a sense of comfort when you're in the locker room with people you know. I also love meeting new people. I love making new contacts for connections and stuff like that, just as I did at DCW with those girls. But I really love just being out there, being able to showcase my hard work. You know, I try to reinvent myself. I try to think of new things that the fans haven't seen before. Again, try to step my game up. But and a lot of times, too, like, it's cool to be able to go back to the storylines and stuff with the guys. I want to touch on one thing. I've been in a lot of angles where guys actually helped boost my career. At RWA, I went through a table, with 3 guys that helped boost my Sera Feeny at RWA. I also was a manager for tag team there. I'm one half of SNS, which is mostly at 5-star, but we do it at other companies as well. Slack, we talked about before this went on air. And with Slack, it's fun to do some of the stuff. We had them dressed up for heels at 5-star, so we had them dressed up as Santa. We had the Naughty Elf contest, whatever. Ended up having a match. Santa turned on the face. I super kicked for the finish. Like, you know, being able to incorporate, you know, everything into the matches is something that I really love. But yeah, back to your question, I just love going out there and showing people, you know, what I love, showing them my heart, showing them my hard work and who I am.
All right.
And hopefully inspiring them too to chase their dreams.
Hey, and that's really what it's all about. You know, when going into this business, you know, it's like you mentioned it. You were a fan before you came into wrestling. And I feel like, you know, people forget. It's like, you know, when you're growing up, you start getting more critical. I think this era that we live in is just so critical, and it's like you're forgetting what it's about. It's about making the fans get those emotions tied into a match, be hyped for everything, you know, just getting excited. It's like, I hate it when someone's wrestling and you're hearing these people go, oh, another boring match. It's like, come on. Do you not know maybe there's someone that's a fan of that wrestler that, you know, they want to put their emotion in, but because you're being who you are, that they can't get into it that way. It's almost like
hard.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's hard. Like, as a wrestler, there's a lot of competition. Like, that's an understatement. There's a lot of competition out there. So it's like, you know, what makes you different from them? And I mean, what makes them want to put you on their poster? What makes the fans want to cheer you? You know, so it is definitely really hard, and you have to continuously figure out how to come out of your comfort zone, and you have to figure out how to, you know, be better than you were the night before. I mean, it's definitely a battle, but it's one worth doing if you really love what you do.
Yep, and I gotta say this, maybe, you know, we can go a little bit. One of the things I tell people, you know, because so many people get so mad, or they go, well, you know, it was so much better when Austin was around. It's like, yeah, but you can't have wrestling pretty much every character look like they're from MMA. You got to have different characters. You got to have, you know, different types of people to be able to pull different directions and different storylines. You know, I get it. You want a guy that just destroys everybody. But when he destroys everybody, then you're going to hate him because you say he can't last 5 minutes. So what is it? That's stuff I've learned that, you know, I try to tell people, you know, it's wrestling, there's so much more to it, you know?
Oh, for sure. And it's always changing. This business is always changing. Some of the things will never change. You know, structure of match, example of that, they usually are very similar to how they were, you know, 10, 20, 30 years. A lot of other things are changing. And, you know, I think that there are a lot of solid wrestling matches out there today that people, maybe they grew up watching, you know, the Attitude Era and expecting things to be. I mean, I personally have friends that were like, oh, yeah, I love the Attitude Era. Or they come to a show in U.S. and they're like, well, that was different. And it's like, yeah, but it's a good different. And that's what today's world's about. So, you know, I don't know, you might get 10, 15 minutes, maybe less, maybe more, to go out and show the fans what you're native, but you know, if you're professional, they're going to come back.
Oh, yeah. This is what they're about. I'll talk about why I name it that. It's real quick. It's simple. What you just said, I go to an Indy show and see 15 minutes if I'm lucky. And then that's it. I don't hear you talk. I don't hear your opinions. I don't hear what makes you different. I bring the road. I want to know, what inspired you to do this business? Because there's time, man, the business can be rough and it can eat people alive. From jealousy, from greed, you name it, it's happened. But
yeah, it's really important for me. One thing that's really held me down is remembering where I came from, remembering who helped me get where I've got, remembering to give back, remembering to keep my morals intact, remember where my heart is and why I started this, But real quick, funny thing I wanted to tell you, because I know I did actually listen to your interview with Jesse Bell, and I was like, darn, like, how the heck do I follow that? You had that Southern Belle on there talking about her road trips with her poppy and all this, and I'm like, yeah, like, I'm not comical like that, I mean, like, I can do stuff in the ring to make you laugh, but I'm like, even that accent just makes you smile. And it's actually funny because we're doing a road trip one time, me and Fleck, and we're coming back to Pittsburgh, and we're in the middle of a blizzard, and we're like, what do we do? So we're talking about Jessie, and all of a sudden, like, when I talk about Jessie, I laugh. And I have to, like, imitate her. So anyway, he starts filming me, imitating her. It's actually a video on my Facebook right now.
I saw it.
Yeah. What's that?
I saw it and I died.
Yeah, right. So I don't really know if it offends her. I hope it doesn't. I'm pretty sure that she'll laugh when she saw it. But anyway, she wouldn't still call me if it offended her. But anyway, funny thing is, there's this movie director who actually saw it and hit me up and was like, well, if you can do that so good, then I want you to be in my movie, and I want you to do that same accent. So I was like, geez, thanks, Jesse, for inspiring me and stuff outside of wrestling. So in May, I'm going to be filming this movie, and I'm going to be like one of the like main characters, and my name's Dixie, and I got to talk like Jesse Bell, and I'm like, let's do it.
Oh man, all right, look, I want to know about this movie. I want to, we'll do some stuff. We'll push it, we'll plug it. I mean, because if you're in it, we want to make sure people find out about it, because that's awesome. I mean,
for sure. It's called like what's it called, like Zombies, the Confederacy or something like that. But zombies are so big right now. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't follow any of the zombie stuff, but I know it's a big deal right now. So it's kind of a military kind of zombie. But yep, Dixie is going to be doing the Jesse Bell accent.
I'm going to go here now. If it goes big time, you might have to pay some royalties to Miss Jessie Bell. Just saying.
Oh, you know it.
She gonna look at you and go, hey, that is my voice, you just made fun of. So
here's the thing. Well, first of all, anytime I imitate her, she always tells me I sound ghetto. She's like, you sound like a ghetto, like that don't sound like you. But the funny thing is that, like, what you see with Jessie, like, you would think that that's a character. Oh no, that's Jessie.
No,
like,
it is.
When she's angry, the southern accent gets really strong. The big green eyes come out, and she'll like get in your face and like tell you how it is, and she's not afraid to hold back. And it's great. If you know Jessie, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
And the hair will whip. I'm telling you. I've seen it. She's a firecracker. She really is. I know it. I told my boy, I remember seeing one of her first matches, and I told the guys, like, treat that one good and everything. And go ahead. Yeah, just understand that, she's a firecracker. And man, I saw her go off on somebody. I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, that Southern Belle is dangerous.
It's good to have people like that. It's good to have people like that on your side, though.
Yeah.
Because if it's not you that they're mad at, they'll probably stick up for you if you're in a situation where you need to send it. So it's for sure good like that.
Okay. All right. Cool. Sorry. All right. So now the next thing I wanted to add, because like I said about Jessie Bell, she is just passionate. And you said you saw the interview. You heard she's very passionate about the business. She makes no bones about it. So my thing is this, being able to wrestle with her. Any other women that kind of stand out in your mind that, I know you talked about Miss Casey, but anyone else that, your current, that you've worked, maybe the upcomings, someone that's caught your eye.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, Jesse and Casey have helped me every time I've gotten in the ring with them. They've helped me become better. Other girls who have helped me, Stephanie, she lives in Canada now. I don't give her enough credit in interviews. I usually mention her name, but I want people to really know that she was amazing in helping me earlier in my career. It's sad that she lives in Canada now and I don't get to work her as much as I did when she lived in Ohio, but she's great. Another one is Angel Dust. I don't know if you've heard the name, but she's definitely been around a while, and a lot of people know her name on the East Coast for sure. She's really good. And Raylyn is from OVW. Her boyfriend's still in Boston. They're really getting out there and getting their name out there. I'm really proud of them. But Raylyn is so sweet, and it's always she calls herself the Miley Cyrus. So anyway, whatever, take that for what it's worth. And she's a lot of fun to work with as well. So yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting people, but there's just a lot of great female talent out there, which is another reason people should go out and support indie wrestling, because there's a chance they're going to see some really good women's matches.
Now let's talk now. There is something out there in WWE called Tough Enough, and I'm trying, that's all Wrestle Talk, to make sure, and if people that have been interviewed by me, I try to, or scheduled to be interviewed, if they've done an audition minute clip, I have shared it. So to support #Tough Enough, are you gonna do a video and just throw your hat, just throwing your name in the hat? That's all you gotta do.
I know. I've been asked this question a lot. Like, even my trainer was like, so where's your Tough Enough video? I'm like, Marshall, I didn't make one. He was like, well, what do you mean you didn't make one? And I'm like, I didn't make one. Like, I'm supporting my friends right now. They're all making them. And, Raylyn and Dylan both have their videos out there. There's a couple others that I've shared on my Facebook. I'm really proud of them and what they're doing. I've always been a fan of Tough Enough. I love Tough Enough. Mm-hmm. But no, I haven't made a Tough Enough video. Not yet, no.
Yeah. Well, no. It's just, a lot of guys and a lot of women are. I know Aja Pere is one that's made one. Dementia Rhodes, actually, when you were watching Extreme Rules, she was actually on the screen, so it actually blew us away. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that we, around us, we've seen that's on it, and best of luck to everyone that's trying out for it. I know it's not easy, but it's the best thing. Look, if you get a chance, run with it. I mean, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you exposure, if nothing else. I mean, Dylan and Raylyn were on the I forget what they called it, but like WWE had like potential contestants list on their YouTube for Tough Enough, and they made it on there, which boosted their views and stuff like that. So hopefully they got some new followers that way. But yeah, I hope my friends, one of them at least, make it on there. I mean, they're all so good and talented and have so much to offer. I for sure hope that. And I know a name that I forgot to mention. Her name's Renee Michelle. If you don't know who she is, look her up. Interview her. The girl is amazing. She is so athletic and talented. She'll surprise you because you look at her and you think that she's just maybe a model, because she actually was before she got in wrestling. But you watch some of her matches and you will just be shocked at the ability that girl has. So hopefully we'll be seeing her down next year as well.
Well, make sure you drop, look, anyone that you think would, want to be on the show also, I have no qualms in interviewing. I love learning. This is the way I see it is being on these shows is all I take is I learn from your road. And I want your story to be out there. And that's what the Indie Spotlight is about. Because, like you said, indie wrestling, you don't know who you'll see and what it'll mean, And I'll tell you, there's some people you see, you go, I'm so glad I came to see the show. And then there's some you just kick yourself in the butt and go, why did I even show up? But it happens, But, the good thing is there's people out there. So, and I love your passion. I love how I see you as a really good team builder. And that's not, that's not nothing, against you. It's actually something good because you need that. Everybody has to have the leader. They got to have the one that's going to go through the wall for everybody. The enforcer that kind of will lean you over and look at you and go, look, you messed up in this spot, this spot, this spot. You can be better. I'm just helping you. And then,
absolutely. Absolutely. You need a strong team around you to get better and to build yourself. I mean, you can get somewhere on your own, but it really helps to have a strong team around you. And everyone that I have around me has something different to offer me. And, that's how you go. And I don't want people to just say, oh, good match, good match, good match. I want them to critique me. I ask all the time. Or, my friends or my trainer, whatever, please critique me and tell me what I can do better, to help me get to that next level.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of I'm calling the matches, I'm watching it, and I got people now that go, well, how do I look? How do I look? And I will now look at them and go, do you want me to just tell you how you look? Do you want me to tell you how you should have looked? Or are you willing to hear what I'm going to tell you? And then are you willing to take how it comes out? Basically, I always am willing to ask that question because my thing is this. You don't know. Well, it's not you. I don't want to say how they're going to take it, but you always want to be willing to share the criticism. But the thing I can't stand is when I hear someone go, well, you just don't know what you're talking about. Okay, well, don't ask me. That's
exactly. No, I want nothing sugar-coated. I want everyone to be brutally honest with me when I ask that question because if you don't, then I'm not going to get better. In fact, I've had people not just tell me, like, okay, what I did wrong or maybe what I did that was stupid, but I've had people say, well, hey, I like this, but if you did it this way, it would look so much better. And I'm like, wow, like, I didn't think of that, and it really helps to broaden your perspective on things.
Oh, yeah. And, there's always ways of tweaking the character. Let me go ahead and ask, this be one of my questions. What, have you ever felt like you went on or you were going on, you saw what Sera Feeny should be. And someone, and like I said, they don't have to be disrespectful or whatnot, but they say, maybe let's pull the brakes a little bit and let's look at it this way. Have you had that situation?
Could you, what was that again? Sorry, you broke out.
Okay. All right. No problem. Have you ever had someone that just was looking at you going, hey, I know what you want to do with your character. I know what you really would like to be. Have you thought about going this route? Did you hear? What?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. One of my trainers told me all the time, like, when I first started, first of all, when I first started my gear was pretty plain. And then I had a friend's girlfriend make me gear. She makes a lot of wrestlers gear around here in Pittsburgh. And I had her make me gear, but it was kind of like one piece, kind of similar to like what Beth Phoenix had going on. You might see some pictures on Facebook of it. I have 2 different colors of that. And then now I rock a 2-piece, which I get made from Australia. And hopefully we'll have some new gear from them here soon. So anyway, but yeah, he's my trainer would always tell me, and I hear him telling other trainees too that are coming up or whatever that recently graduated, like, first of all, you need something that's going to set you apart. You need something that's going to tell people who you are and remember who you are. One thing he did, he actually said good things about my current gear, which I appreciated. He said about the SF, people will know, okay, this is Sera Feeny. They'll remember, okay, what I look like or whatever. The fact that I wasn't, say all covered up or whatever, definitely helps people take you more seriously. You look more like a wrestler. Just feeling more comfortable, but I think it was, again, getting out of that comfort zone, growing into, I had someone recently tell me, like, I've known you when you first started, 5 years ago or whatever like that. You've really grown into your wrestling character. You've really grown into, a wrestler in general. And that's a compliment. Like, yeah. And I've had, other people say as well, like, different ideas. And I've always been told, hey, you may agree, you may not agree. Just say, okay, thank you, sir, and take it how you will, but at least appreciate that they're taking the time to talk to you.
All right, now this is where I'm just going to give you a little, not advice, because like I said, if I get to see more of your matches, I can maybe obviously say something, but I got to tell you, as a father, I love your ring gear. I do. I have a daughter, and she wants to be a wrestler, and I tell her, you got to be somewhat classy. I want, if you ever did do this, I want you to be confident in yourself, but know that you don't have to be all, smut and slut.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I've had people tell me that, and there's a lot of reasons why I do what I do, why I look the way I look. As far as my ring gear, I know. I talk to little girls every single time I go to a wrestling show, and I know. And I don't want them to think that there's just a one-way street. You have to look like everyone around you. I mean, trust me, some of my friends are beautiful. I absolutely think they're great for, the way they look, but I can be different, and I, people can look at me and judge me how they want. They don't have to just compare me to the other person, but, at the same time, there are other reasons too. I mean, I mostly just want to make sure that I'm taken seriously. I'm not just judged by my appearance, but I'm judged by what I can offer in the ring. And that, if I'm inspiring people out there, that I'm giving them options of, what they can do and what routes they can go. But not that there's any problem with, showing more skin or anything like that. I have no problem with that. But I just try to be different. I just try to be my own person.
Well, I got to tell you, looking at looking at the outfit and everything, and some of the poses you do, and understand what I'm about to say. When I first saw your pictures and stuff, the first thing I said to myself was, "Dear God, this is Molly Holly, but in pink." I mean,
I'm sorry, I have to laugh. I can't tell you how many times I've heard Molly Holly's name. I wish I could just meet her. Like, I wish she was still on a wrestling scene so that I had the opportunity to meet her. The very first time I ever did anything in wrestling, sorry not to cut you off, I just got excited there.
No. Go ahead.
It was IWC's what's it called, a superstar show, which basically they do annually to help benefit school in Meadville. And anyways, Lanny Poffo, who actually I can still contact today, and he'll respond to me. I mean, I appreciate his time with that. But anyway, so
Yeah.
we're talking at this show. It must have been like 2010, like fall of 2010. And he's telling me, he's like, "You're Molly Holly, like you're Molly." And ever since then, I've heard it so many times I've lost count. I've never thought of myself that way, but yeah, absolutely.
Well,
I appreciate that.
Oh, I mean, and like I said, no disrespect. It's like but when I see you, that is the first thing, because I'm looking, I'm going, and I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, but it's like I felt Molly Holly was one of the most beautiful women of the women wrestlers, and if you ever watched her, she was clothed all the time. So it's a good thing, and it's like a lot of the women wrestlers I'll talk to, she's one of the very first names that come up. And if you think about it, it's not like she had that big, what was it? It's not like Trish's, fame. It's not like Lita, but the wrestlers who've dedicated, they always mention her. So to me, to be mentioned in the same breath, that is very respectful. I hope to God eventually one day I meet her or Ivory, because to me, those are women wrestlers that I respect their abilities. And but yeah, every time I see these pictures,
sure, right?
I
loved watching Molly Holly as well growing up, and Alundra Blaze too. Like, I watched some of her work from back that day. That's another good name. But I do thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Alundra Blaze. I wish the issues that happened never happened, because she was the modern day Moolah. That's what I've always I don't like giving like comments like that out, but no doubt she was always able to work. She could work men, women, and she was phenomenal. Heck, I saw her recently, and it's like, on the Hall of Fame. She still looks like she could go. Her and Natalia could team up and just dominate the women's division. And
absolutely,
if you notice, I like calling it the women's division versus divas. So now this is a question I wanted to ask you. What are your views? Because to me, when we hear diva, it just doesn't have that really good connotation to it. It just something doesn't feel right. What is it for you? Do you rather be called a woman wrestler versus? Do you like the term knockout? Do you like the term diva? What say you?
I think that what best describes me is woman wrestler. I mean, I've been called different, things like diva or whatever like that, but I definitely think that I'm going to a promotion here in May, and they call their females bombshells. That's actually the whole promotion name, Extreme Bombshells Wrestling. So, and I'm totally fine with that. But if you had to ask me what best describes me, I would say a woman wrestler, female wrestler. It's just how things have changed. They're divas today. They even have the divas belt. I mean, I personally love the women's title, but they have the divas belt now. I mean, it's a whole division, around that. So.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it's like one of those. It's like, for me, I really, if I was, head of diva or the WWE's, women's division, and I try not to joke about it, even though, back in the day I made jokes and stuff. But when I tried to tell people, if it was up to me, Natalia would be my champion. Because I feel like she really believes in the women division. And, even if I would give her the belt, I would want her to be like, this belt is now going to be the women's champion. I like women's or ladies. I don't know. It's just because, when you hear people say diva or, not, it just put people to look at the women in a different light. And to me, they're athletes. I've seen the ring. I felt the ropes. That hurts. So for y'all to do it and for guys to do it, I respect anyone that can get inside that square circle. 14 by 14, 16 by 16, 18 by 18, 20 by 20. It don't matter. High, low, medium, boy. You get in a ring, you're putting your body online. And that's just my little spill there. For you, you're in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yep. And, you can always go home. That's what everybody says. So tell me this. What are your favorite spots to really go to? Do you like traveling south? Do you like, the north? Do you like Midwest? Where do you like to go to be a part of wrestling?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've seen enough of the country yet or enough of the world yet. I really look forward to what opportunities open up for me in the future. I'm looking forward to going to new states, going to new countries. But currently, I really appreciate all the companies that I work for. There's a lot in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Ohio. There's a lot of wrestling in Ohio and Pennsylvania. But, I worked with a company up in Delaware a couple of times called 1CW. It's really cool. It's about a 6-hour drive for me, but I really enjoy working up there. I'm going to be debuting in Tennessee in June, and probably going to be wrestling Jesse. And, I look forward to that because when I visited Tennessee, it was a darn good time. So, I'd love to it's amazing, like how many, I've worked a lot of companies. I've worked for a couple years now, but I have so many new companies that are coming up that I've never worked for before. I'm going up to Michigan, as I mentioned. So I really look forward to that. I appreciate I'm working at a company in Maryland right now called MCW. I work at a company called AWTN as their women's champion. Here in Pittsburgh, I worked 5-star. I worked RWA. I was their women's champion.
And by the way, congrats. And by the way, congrats on winning the championship for FSW.
Gee, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I don't think I've seen enough of the country yet, and I don't think I've seen enough of the world yet. So I just really look forward to the opportunities that are to come.
Well, I am hoping you and Slash definitely come down on to Georgia because we got a lot of companies down here. Love to have you a part. I think you are tremendous in your character, the abilities you've shown in the ring. That's just my opinion. I like what I see. I even showed the bookers that I work with. They like it. So very respectful in the ring and like your work in there too. So just wanted to give you that little, a little appreciation because we do. Normally I'd ask about ring, the road, the locker rooms, but really right now, if you like, any fun stories, anything you would like to share, being in the business, anything, fun and exciting, or if not exciting, at least fun to you and, a good time, just kind of, that made you just say only in wrestling.
I've seen a lot of stuff. No, probably not some stuff I can talk about. Not that I voluntarily witnessed it, but definitely being in the locker room can get interesting. But yeah, I try to take wrestling serious because it's a career.
Yeah.
It's not just a job. It's not a hobby. It's a career, and I want to make a life career out of it. So I'm always wanting to better myself, and I just take it seriously, just as you would, any company you work for. So I don't really have a whole lot of funny stories or goofing around or anything like that. I mean, I've enjoyed some of the storylines I've been a part of. But driving back, I've been asked before about, driving back, what on the road, what kind of things do you, and it's honestly, you talk about wrestling, you talk about wrestling ideas after the show, you talk about, well, first of all, you're on that high from wrestling and the adrenaline pumping through your body still, and it's like, you just talk about, how you think the match went and stuff like that. So I'm kind of serious when it comes to wrestling, usually, so.
What is, and we're about to round up. We actually been here over an hour, so it's good news. We have a good time. My question for you: what is it that you really hope that people see about you? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Indies, wherever you want to go. What would you like to see Sera Feeny get to go do?
I have a lot of goals, such as going to Canada. That's a huge goal I've had for a while now, and I know some girls up there, so I'm hoping to get up there here soon. But as far as the next 5 years, I hope to grow as a wrestler, as a person. I hope to be able to not only learn that much more, but be able to contribute. It's weird because I don't feel like I've been doing it that long, but I'm seeing girls coming after me, and I just want to help them like others have helped me. So 5 years from now, I just hope that I'm successful in whatever I'm doing, and I hope that I have a good story to tell my kids someday.
Well, let me ask you, advice for the upcomers that are working to get into wrestling, a piece of advice, what would you like to give them?
I would say the word I've said a million times tonight: network, network, network. Take your craft seriously and know what people you want to surround yourself with. People that are going to help you, not just ones that are actually going to help you and build you. Just stay positive. Like you mentioned, it can be hard sometimes, but you gotta, remember your heart and where you came from, and just, just surround yourself with a good team. That's all I can really say.
Well, I mean, that's all anybody can say, and I appreciate you saying that. And I want to say I've been very impressed with your answers and everything you've done. And I hope nothing but the best for me and my, I'm the one-man crew here. So for me and the crew, anytime you want to be on the show, you are more than welcome. Love to have you on again. I pray that the indie wrestling, I hope we have more people like you where you're just passionate. You want this business. You just want to see it succeed. And people put the work in. And I want to thank you because that translates to people that want to be a part of it, that wants to watch. And look, do they love it? Are they going to be on fire? You know what? all you could do is put it out there, and you just let the crowd go with whatever. You're going to have people that will try to tell you one way. You're going to have, like you said, you have a strong support system. Stay with that. They will stay with you. And, all Wrestling Talk will be a part of that. We want to see the best for you. Just keep doing what you're doing and take names.
I appreciate that. A lot of my answers might have seemed repetitive only because those are things that I live by, and that's what drives me each time, I go out there. That's the mindset I have. So if it seems like I'm repeating myself, it's because those are the standards that I live by, and that's what helped me become successful today and hopefully become more successful in the future. And to the youth, as far as, what you mentioned, I can't tell you how happy it makes me when I see, whether it's at a WWE show or if it's at an indie show, being able to see those young kids feeling that passion that I felt when I was their age. It gives me hope for the future because that's the next generation. Hopefully they'll become wrestlers one day and they'll keep everything, keep it going, So absolutely, I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the nice things you said, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Awesome. Well, look, everyone, if you check this out, check Sera Feeny. What's the best way to try to get a hold of you if they want to book you for matches or, if you just want to tell me the Facebook, that's fine, but we'll make sure and put it on the YouTube link too so people can get a hold of you.
Sure, and I'll add it to my playlist on my YouTube account, which is Italian Diva AS. I'm also on Twitter, Sera Feeny, SeraFeeny. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And if you're old school and want to email me, it's SeraFeeny@hotmail.com. So those are the ways to connect with me.
Well, see, you just heard it from her, y'all. Sera, thank you so much for being on my show. This has been a trying week. So to be able to have one guest this week was beautiful. So I want to tell you thank you so much. It means the world to me. And I'm honored to have you on my show. And I look forward to, if we do another show with you, obviously you're more than welcome. And, tell anyone that surrounds you, if they like to be on the show, we'd love to have them too.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Hey, I hope you feel better.
I'm fighting. I'm a fighter. So we're, drafts in. We're going to find out who the Falcons get. But I want you to know I appreciate you, and may God, you have a blessed journey, and may everything go well on your roads in the wrestling business. We're going to make sure to tag everything on the YouTube link. So y'all check it out. Watch her. Be a fan of this woman. She's awesome. The FSW Women's Champion, Ms. Sera Feeny. Thank you so much for being a part of All Wrestling Talk in the Superstar Spotlight.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Feeny Army. Mark on that. Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everybody. I'm C-Double. I'm out.